I highly recommend to do it at least one day before. Do a walkthrough, go through the property, make sure that everything's still the same. It's still intact from the moment that you saw it or way back at the showing. And if there is anything that comes to mind, this is when you go back to your lawyer, not your realtor, your lawyer, because it's no longer in my hands. You go back to your lawyer and say, "Hey, this is what's going on. Can you please hold some of the funds until we figure it out?" That's when I get involved and I go back and forth with the listing agent and try to get, some of those issues resolved. Or it could just be, you know what, the seller's lawyer and your lawyer will get together and maybe talk about a discount or talk about some sort of a cashback or holding some money. All right, so we waived the conditions on our offer. Everything is good to go. We are ready to close. And now we're coming at the closing date or the completion date. And I know here in Canada, they're a little bit sort of interchangeable. They're not the same, but they are one and the same. They can be done on the same day. So let's dig into it. My name is Fadi Kuder. I'm your local realtor here with Sutton Group Ottawa. And Canada on the Rocks is the channel to be. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe so we can learn more about real estate. Are you excited or what? No. So now that we have the completion date or the possession date, let's talk about both. What does it mean? So the completion date is basically now the sale is done. Everything is good to go. We've gone ahead and got the bank to give us a commitment letter. They've sent all the mortgage paperwork to the lawyer. The lawyer had checked it off. The lawyer had actually took the deposit money and took the down payment money and put it in their account, and it's been sent off. The lawyer also took all that sort of money coming from the bank for the mortgage and sent it all off to the seller's lawyer, and they've given you an approval, and they have told you that they have gone ahead and registered the property in the registry office. That is the completion of the sale. That doesn't mean that you just got the keys yet, because that's a different one. That's called possession date. Now, here's some of the things that could go wrong in that. Sometimes when we're coming close to the completion, when we have, for example, title search, and this is something that we can talk about in a different video, but title search comes back and there's an issue, and that might delay the process. So that completion date might get pushed a couple of days or 5 days or whatever the case may be until that problem is fixed. Sometimes we might have other problems. The wire transfer didn't get in time or the bank didn't finish the file on time. There's a lot of emergencies that could happen when it comes to the closing date or the completion date. So we always, as realtors, have to be on the lookout. Not only that, but also be available for your lawyer to make sure that everything checks out and we carry the torch all the way forward until the finish line. So let's talk about some of those emergencies just to give you a bit of an understanding. So sometimes those emergencies are not just, for example, the bank didn't send the money in time or, there's a title search issue. Sometimes it might be a physical emergency with the house, with the property that you're purchasing. As long as that completion date has not been done and you haven't signed off yet, it is still the responsibility of the seller to make sure that what they're delivering to you is a finished product. And it's very, very similar. It's almost the same exact sort of product from when you saw it at the viewing, way back then at the showing time. So that's some of the things that we've talked about. I've had, for example, situations where all of a sudden there was a leak in the kitchen that had happened from when we firmed up on the offer until the closing date, and we show up and it's there. We actually ended up having to do a walkthrough. And this is something that I totally suggest to everyone. Before the completion date, by a day or two, I highly recommend to do it at least one day before. Do a walkthrough, go through the property, make sure that everything's still the same. It's still intact from the moment that you saw it or way back at the showing. And if there is anything that comes to mind, this is when you go back to your lawyer, not your realtor, your lawyer, because it's no longer in my hands. You go back to your lawyer and say, "Hey, this is what's going on. Can you please hold some of the funds until we figure it out?" That's when I get involved and I go back and forth with the listing agent and try to get, some of those issues resolved. Or it could just be, the seller's lawyer and your lawyer will get together and maybe talk about a discount or talk about some sort of a cashback or holding some money back, whatever that is. But that's not everything is going to be always 100%. However, 99%, 95% of the transactions that we do, they're always going to check out if we do things right and if we do the walkthroughs when we should and we make sure that everything is documented and done right. Next thing we need to go after this is the possession date. So everything checks out, and we finally are able to say, now the house is ours. When do we get the keys? Normally, here in Canada, within the same business day, you can actually get your keys. As long as your lawyer sends out the cash to the bank, to the seller's bank, and the seller has the funds in their account, that's it. You can actually legally get the keys. Your insurance starts that moment. Your obligation, very, very important, that your obligation starts at that moment. Anything that happens to the house after that is now completely yours. The furnace breaks, that's on you. A fire breaks out, hopefully not, it's on you. Anything that happens after the possession date and you got the keys, actually after the completion date to be exact, now it's all yours. So be careful. Always do the walkthrough. It's very, very important that you do the walkthrough. If there's one thing you need to do before you close and you get the completion date done, it's that walkthrough. For everything real estate related, Canada on the Rocks is the channel to be. I am your host, Fadi Kuder, local realtor here in Ottawa. Thanks again. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe.